Okay, well, let's get started with our math assignment for today. I'm going to do some examples for you like I do every day, and then I'll let you get to your homework and try it out. Now, it's not very hard today. It's a little bit easier than what we started with at the beginning of the week. So I hope you are learning a lot about place value. Today we're looking at less than, greater than, or equal to. And so we're comparing numbers. Now, let's take a look at these first two numbers, and we'll do it the way the videos showed us. We'll put it in the place value chart just to make sure we understand exactly why one number is greater than or less than another. So we'll take this first number here, 600,015. We have in the 100,000s place, we have a 6. We have nothing in the 0 in the 10,000s place, a 0 in the thousands place, a 0 in the hundreds place, a 1 in the tens place, and a 5 in the ones place. Okay, now let's take a look at our other number, 60,015. Do we have any 100,000s? No. Do we have 10,000? Yes. Thousands? No. Hundreds? No. 110, 5 ones. So if we look at this chart, we can see that the number that has the highest value is that first one, because it has a 6 in the 100,000s place, which is 600,000. This only has 6 in the 10,000s place, which is only 60,000. So the correct symbol we'll use is 600,015 is greater than, remember, like he said, the shark wants to eat the bigger one. 600,015 is greater than 60,015. Let's do one more on our place value chart. Okay, the first number has a 4 in the 100,000s place, a 0 in the 10,000s place, a 9 in the thousands place, a 0 in the hundreds place, a 0 in the tens place, and a 4 in the ones place. Now, these place value charts, there you can draw them at home if it helps you, or if your mom and dad can print one off if they have a printer to print a place value chart off that you can write on, or like the guy in the video shows us to do to use dry erase markers on the board. If you have a whiteboard, maybe you can do that, and that way you can make it easy. If you don't, you can just draw it on notebook paper. Let's look at the second number. It's got a 4 in the 100,000s place, a 4 in the 10,000s place, a 0 in the thousands place, a 0 in the hundreds place, a 0 in the tens place, and a 2 in the ones place. So let's take a look at this one. Well, they both have 4 in the 100,000s place, so they're equal there. So we've got to go to the next place over. And this one has 4 10,000s, and this one has 0 10,000s. So the second number is going to be bigger, isn't it? Because it has more numbers, higher numbers in the higher place values. This is 440,000. This is only 409,000. So in our equation, the mouth is going to always be eating the bigger one. So we read this, 409,004 is less than 440,002. Did you get that? So some of them it's easy, like this first one we could look and see, oh, it's only 60,000, it's 600,000, that one's bigger. But some of them, you got to look at different place values, because this both had a 4 in the 100,000s place. So look closely at them. Let's go to the next part of this homework. And this part 2 says, excuse me, compare the numbers by using the symbols less than, greater than, and equal to. Write the correct symbol in the answer box. Now this time we don't have any place value charts to look at, so we're going to just look at the numbers closely. And what we have to do when we're putting a greater than or less than is we have to examine place value. Do you see why place value is so important? Well, we've been working on it for 2 weeks now. So we've got to look at each place And let's look at the biggest place that each number has. This one has a 9, and what place is that? A 9 in the 10,000s place. This one has a 3 in the 100,000s place. So this one does not have any numbers in the 100,000s place. So we know this number is bigger. So our equation is going to read 342,001 is greater than 94,981. Are you getting it? You see, we just looked at the place value. This has a higher place value. It's got a 3 in the 100,000s place, and this doesn't have any 100,000s. Oh my, look at letter B. What are we going to do with this one? We don't even see numbers. We've got, what's this called? It's called expanded form and word form. Well, there's a couple things you could do. Some people have a hard time looking at these and knowing what number it means unless they write it down. So that would be fine. So let's write these numbers out, and then we can look at them a little closer. That's one way we can do this. So we've got a 5 in the 100,000s place, an 8 in the 10,000s place, a 9 in the thousands place, a 1 in the hundreds place, and we don't have any 10s or 1s. So there's what that number looks like in standard form. Now let's read this one, 508,000. What's that look like? Well, we know what 508 looks like, 508, but it's 508,000, so we've got a comma there, and then 901. And we know what 901 looks like. So here's our two numbers. Let's examine the place value. Start in the biggest one. A 5 in the 100,000s place, a 5 in the 100,000s place. So we can't look there. We've got to look at the next one over. This one has an 8 in the 10,000s place, and this one has a 0. So that's 80,000 compared to 0, 10,000s. So we know then this number is greater. So our equation will show the shark chew. I sound like a train, don't I? Sneezing. The shark eating the larger number. The mouth is eating the larger number. And remember, it's larger because it has an 8 in the 10,000s, and this one has a 0 when they both have a 5 in the 100,000s. So you can write it out like that, or we can look at it this way. This time I'm not going to write it out. I'm just going to think about it. This says this has 9 in the 100,000s place. So it has 900,000s. Well, so does this one. This one has 900,000s, doesn't it? This one says it has 8,000s. Let's see how many thousands this one has. It has 8,000s. Well, this one says it has 900s. This one says it has 900s. And this says it has 3 10s. And this one has 3 10s. And neither one of them have any 10,000s, do they? Or 1s. So if everything's same on both of the numbers, what should we put? Well, we obviously have to put an equal to sign. Those numbers are equal. Let's do that again on this part D. This one says we have 9 hundreds, 5 10,000s, and 9 1s. This one says we have 6 10,000s, 5 hundreds, and 9 1s. I don't know. I'm thinking I need to write this one out just to make sure I get it right. Okay, so 9 hundreds, 5 10,000s, and 9 1s. The thing that's confusing me on this one is these are not in order, are they? Because the hundreds should be on the right side of the 10,000s. So be careful. Let's write this number out and just make sure we get it right. This one has 5 10,000s. Do we have any thousands? No. So put our comma there. How many hundreds do we have? We have 9 hundreds. Do we have any tens? No. Do we have ones? Yes, we have 9 ones. So there's what that number looks like in standard form. This one says we have 6 10,000s. Do we have any thousands? No. Do we have any hundreds? Yes, we have 5 hundreds. Do we have any tens? No. Do we have any ones? Yes. Whew, I'm glad I wrote that out because that was a bit confusing to look at. So I suggest if you're confused, write the number out and make sure you write it correctly. Because now I can easily see in the midst of all this mixed up stuff, this has a 5 in the 10,000s place, and this has a 6. So I know this number is bigger because it's worth 60,000. This one's only worth 50. So my mouth is going to eat the larger number. Okay, let's look at number 3. Now, number 3, it says use the information in the chart below. And it gives us the names of some mountains. And it tells us their elevation. That means how high they are in feet. And so we look at these numbers and we see how high they are. And so now we've got to decide the answer to these questions or what it tells us to do. Okay? This is 2 part B's. I think this one's supposed to be an A, don't you? I think that's a misprint. So let's see. List the height in feet of each mountain from least to greatest. Now, I want you to get in the habit of doing something. I know you can't do it on the computer, but I really want you to focus on the words that it asks you to put them in order in. So it says from least to greatest. It makes a difference because if I did greatest to least, I would get the answers wrong. So least means the smallest and greatest means the biggest. So I'm going to look for the smallest number here. So 4s in the thousands place. So there's 3 numbers that have 4s in the thousands place. So I'm going to move over to my hundreds. This one's 5, so we know it's bigger, so we're not going to worry about it. This one has a 3 in the hundreds place, a 9 in the hundreds place, a 2 in the hundreds place. So this mountain, Slide Mountain, is the least. It's the shortest mountain. So we're going to list the height in feet. So we're not putting the name of the mountain, we're putting the height. So the first one is 4,240 feet. And I think on your homework it says to separate them with a semicolon and a space. It looks like a J. Okay. The next one, so we got this one. I'm going to mark it off because we did it. So now we're looking at these 2 other 4,000 numbers. We've got a 9 and a 3 in the hundreds place. So this one is going to be next, 4,340 feet. And I'm going to put my semicolon and a space. So we got that one. So this means this is the next one because it's the only 4,000 left. So 4,960 feet, semicolon. And the biggest one then is Mount Marcy because it has a height of 4,344 feet. So there those mountains are listed in order from least to greatest. And then it asks us here, name the mountain that has the lowest elevation in feet. So it's this one that has the 4,240. What was it called? It was called Slide Mountain. Sounds like a ride at Splash Country, doesn't it? Slide Mountain. How you doing on this? This is not so hard, is it? Just got to pay attention to the numbers. We've got one more page to work on together, and then I'll let you go and work on it by yourself. Okay, now, again, we want to pay attention to the order it's telling us to list things in. This one says arrange them from least to greatest. So we're going to start with the smallest. So I've got to look at all these numbers. I've got numbers with numbers in the thousands place, but this one doesn't, does it? It has no thousands, though. So 820 is going to be our smallest. 820, your homework's going to say put a semicolon after it. And then we leave a space. So we got that one. Now, I've got to look at the thousands places. That one has an 8. That one has a 2, so that's small. That one has a 2, and that one has an 8. So it's going to be between one of these 2s, isn't it? Because they're the smallest one. So this one has 0 in the hundreds, but so does that one. This one has an 8 in the tens, and this one has a 0 in the tens. So this one's going to be the smallest. So let's write that one. 2008. We'll separate them with that semicolon. Okay. And then we got the other 2 because the other ones are 8. So 2080 is next. And then we got the 2 8s. So 8,200, 8,002. This one has a 0 in the hundreds place. This one has a 2 in the hundreds place. So this guy is smaller than this one. So he'll go next. 8,002. And that means the biggest one is 8,200. And I'm just going to look back over these and make sure. Oh, an 8? What? Oh, that's the hundreds place. There's nothing in the thousands place. So, yep. I think I got them right. All right, let's go to this one. But notice it doesn't say least to greatest. That's why it's important to read the directions. This one wants us to list them from greatest to least. So we've got to start with the biggest number this time. So let's look at our place values. A 7 in the 100,000s, a 7 in the 100,000s, a 7 in the 100,000s, nothing in the 100,000s. Well, we're looking for the biggest one first. That's probably going to be our smallest one, but we've got to find the biggest one first. So these all 3 had 7 in the 100,000s. So now we're going to go to the 10,000s. This one has a 2. This one has a 0. Great. This one has a 2. So I'm going to have to look at the next spot. So it's between these 2 because they both have 7 and a 2. This one has an 8 in the thousands place. This one has a 0. So finally, I found my greatest number here. It's 728,000. Semicolon, separating them. I'll check that one off. Now it's one of these 2. Oh, this is the other one that had a 2 in the 10,000s place. So it's going to be next, 720,800. All right, next. Oh, forgot my semicolon. Now we've got, a 7 in the 100,000s place and a nothing in the 100,000s place. So this one's going to be next, 708,200. And then our final number, we already decided a minute ago, didn't we? This one's going to be the smallest, 87,300. So those are listed from greatest to least. All right, last question. 1 astronomical unit, or AU, is the approximate distance from the Earth to the Sun. The following are the approximate distances from Earth to nearby stars, giving in astronomical units, or AUs. List the names of the stars and their distances in AUs in order from closest to farthest from the Earth. It doesn't say greatest and least. It says closest to farthest. So let's think about this. Would the biggest number be the closest or the smallest number be the closest? Well, let's compare you to me. If you were standing 2 feet from me and then you were standing 5 feet from me, which one would be the closest? It would be 2 feet, the smaller number, right? So the smaller number is going to be the closest. So we need to look for the smallest number first because it was going to be the star that's closest to the Earth. So the smallest to biggest, the least to greatest. We might write on this one to help us remember. We're trying to find least to greatest. Now, also we want to read these directions carefully because it says this time we have to list the names those proper nouns, like we learned in grammar in the ELA this week, the names of the stars and their distances. So we got to write the name and the number. So here we go. It's going to take a minute. We better get started. Let's try to find the smallest number. Here's the list of them. So that has a 2 in the 100,000th place, and that one does. This one has a 6, a 3, and a 5. So it's going to come down to one of these two. So this one, they both have a 2. This one has a 6 in the 10,000th place. This one has a 7. So this one in this list is going to be closest to the Earth because it's the smallest number. So we've got to list the name and the number. So it's called Proxima Centauri. So we're just going to list them in this order. Proxima Centauri. Now, because I would take I don't have a whole lot of room, I want to make a list going from top to bottom. On your computer, when you're doing this, you're going to still need to put them going across and put the little semicolon in between them, okay? So Proxima Centauri is 268,269 AUs. Okay? So we got that one. And there was one other, the one that had a 200 and 100,000th place, and it's called Alpha Centauri. So let's remember, put your semicolon. Alpha Centauri, and it was 275,725 AUs. Semicolon. What's next? Okay, we've got a 5 in the 100,000th place, a 3 in the 100,000th place, and a 6 in the 100,000th place. So that's going to be that 3, isn't it? And it's called Bernard's star. That's a funny name. Bernard's star. And it was 377,098 AUs away. Semicolon. Now we're down to 2. We've got one with a 6 and one with a 5. Which one's closer? The smaller one. It's called Sirius, like Sirius satellite radio. And how far away is it? It's 542,774 AUs from the Earth. Semicolon. And our last one is called, wow, what a name, Epsilon Eridani. I think that's what you should name your kid when you grow up, Epsilon Eridani. Nobody else will have that name, will they? Epsilon Eridani is the farthest one from the Earth, and it's 665,282 astronomical units away from the Earth. All right. Now, we've worked through all the types of problems that are going to be on your homework for today. So I'm going to let you get to work. Remember to pay attention to whether it says greatest to least or least to greatest. And make sure your mouth is always going towards like it's going to eat the bigger number, okay? All right, get to work. We'll see you later.